misread the question. Misreading the question is probably about speed a lot of times. And so one of the ways to slow yourself down and to really emphasize what you need to be doing in a test, you attack the question. And the way you do that is you circle or underline the different major points in the question. Okay? So what I usually do is I usually circle question words. Like if it says, what are the main cultures of Mesopotamia? I underline what, I circle what, and then I underline Mesopotamia, okay, cultures. So it slows me down and it emphasizes the words in the questions, okay? Which is very important, especially for essay exams. Because essay exams, you'll go through and, you know, maybe you'll only answer half the essay exam because you haven't, you're rushing so quick that you remembered, you know, what are the cultures of Mesopotamia, but it didn't say, but you didn't catch, and why did they disappear? You know, the second question. So by circling what and then by circling another question word, that's going to help you to understand, I need to slow down, okay? So misreading the question, a lot of times it's because of speed. And so you slow down by attacking the question. You also can slow down, especially if it's an essay exam, by creating a basic outline too. Okay, that's really important. Didn't have time, it goes back to the time management question that people talked about. And so what I usually recommend when people get an exam is that you sit down, you put your name on it first. I don't know how many times professors have said, put your name on it, and then they always get 1 or 2 exams without a name on it. And then what I would do is go through the exam and look at the major sections. So there's 10 questions on you know, multiple choice. There's 10 questions on identifications. And then there's 2 essay questions. A lot of times professors will put the points that each are worth too. Maybe the multiple choice is worth 1 point apiece, the IDs are worth 2 points apiece, so they're a little bit more, and then the essays are worth, you know, 30 points apiece. Well, you need to do that time management so that you put most of your time into the essays, okay? So before you dive into the exam, take a look at the exam. What is it like? What's the structure? What's the format? What are the point totals for each of the sections, okay? Then what I recommend you do is turn the test over in the back and do what's called a primary data dump, okay? All those facts and figures and stuff that you know are going to leak out your ears and down onto the floor and you're going to forget them, write them down. Whether it's a couple of dates, whether it's some terms, whether it's some names, whatever it is that you're thinking, oh boy, I don't know if I'm going to hold on to all this stuff. You know, some formulas maybe, whatever it is, write it down. Do your primary data dump before you dive into the test. That's very important. Okay, so that I think can help you to do some time management. If you can figure out what the format is, what are the point totals for the different sections, then you can start to go, okay, I'm going to put this amount of time into this amount of time into this. Okay, jump to conclusions, that's going too fast again, you know, and so maybe slowing down, attack the question, do an outline for your essays. What's very important sometimes for like multiple choice questions is to cover up the answers and read and attack the question and then answer it for yourself. How would you answer it without looking at the answers provided? That's really important because sometimes those answers are so subtle, the difference between them. And so if you can answer it yourself and then go into, okay, which one is closest to the way I would have answered it, that's probably going to be your best bet. Okay? So attack the question, don't look at the answers, and then write out what you think is the answer first. That can be really helpful. Okay? And it helps you to stop jumping to conclusions a little bit too. Calculated wrong, you're just going to have to recheck your calculations. You know, really talk it out, maybe in your own head. Okay, I do this and I do this, and then I work on this, and this, and okay. So those are the strategies that I think could be really helpful instead of just saying, well, I'm going to read the book more. You know, because if you look, there isn't a strategy on here that says just read the book 4 more times, right? There's a strategy that says the SQ3R, so maybe you do headings and subheadings of your textbooks, or maybe you take notes of the characters, the plot, the setting, the theme. Maybe that's something that you do in your readings to be more active, but to just read the book 4 times instead of 3 times isn't probably going to help you all that much. Okay? So those are the strategies that I would really recommend, and they're all outlined here. Okay? Because what's hard, a lot of times, is breaking things down into pieces. Sometimes we don't have a conception of how do I break that into pieces. And that's why if you look at the first handout, this gives you some ideas about how to break some things down into pieces. Okay? This handout is really what I call break it down before you have a breakdown. Okay? And if you take a look at the exams, you can do a lot of different things with exams. Besides just, well, I'm going to study my notes and I'm going to do the readings and I'm just going to do it, right? You can outline each chapter and do the readings while taking notes. And we'll look at some reading strategies later on that'll really get at some of the ways that you can do very active reading. Continue to review your notes, make flashcards of terms, meet weekly with a study group. Don't just meet the night before, meet often with the study group. And maybe each of you in the study group comes up with 2 or 3 questions that you think might be on the exam, and then you ask each other these questions. You go around the room and each one asks a question, and if the group can't answer it, you got to make sure that you can answer it. So it keeps it very active. Summaries of chapters, ask the professor about the format, carry your flashcards. You know, so when I'm running late, you can sit outside and instead of complaining about me, you can pull out your flashcards and start studying your flashcards and your terminology. Okay? Not that I'm ever late though. Get old tests, do trial testing with your friends, do visualization of the test area to relax. All these different things can help you to break things into pieces.